Dave, what about you? If you were hiring a CHRO today, um, and maybe this is different, maybe it's the same, or you're the CEO and you're hiring a CHRO, what are the maybe 3 things that you'd look for in a candidate?
I agree with Karen. This business acumen is key. The CHROs, in order to be the partner, they've got to have a deep understanding of what drives business success, not just dollars and cents. You need to understand the key stakeholders, the board, the investors, the customers, your associates throughout the world, and the cultural differences. I know in the US, we talk about millennials, you talk about Gen X, Z, Y, and the CHRO business acumen needs to go far beyond that. I mean, you've got to think globally. So business acumen is a critical component. Strategic thinking is a second. The CHRO that I would be hiring would have to show that he or she has the ability to be a business visionary, as well as creating and executing strategies. One of the things I've seen so many times, it's like, standard that the CEOs and CHROs, actually all EC members, often look myopically at the next 12 months. To have an impact on culture and on your whole human resource dynamic, the skill sets you need, those are years in advance. And if your CHRO to be effective needs to have that vision. They need to be able to bring to the table the understanding that human evolution and skill set acquisition is not like this, and it's almost never in 12 months. And so that whole strategic thinking, the business visionary is another component. So business acumen, strategic thinking. And the third is understanding what drives individual and organizational success. And again, you get into the generational thing. But honestly, in today's world, even in the United States, you have rural, you have agricultural area, you've got the big cities, you've got people from overseas, you have a business that's big in India or China or Africa or the Middle East, Russia, Europe. You've got your CHRO needs to understand what drives individual and organizational success. And if, depending upon the type of business, that's more than just, what's in the newspaper, the headline today.
Absolutely.
So those 3 things.
Yeah. I think the one that really struck me was the business visionary, and who has a better preview of, of the entire organization and what's going on externally too. Awesome.
Yeah. And so often, and I don't know why, I think, Karen, I'm very impressed with your experience and your outspokenness. It is not uncommon to see a CHRO, what I would call self-impose a secondary position. Yeah. And the types of things I've talked about are the fundamental, critical success factors for business growth or transformation. Yeah. And that CHRO needs to be able to speak up and talk about these types of critical, important things for the company.
That's great. Karen, did you have a comment on that?
Yeah, can I build on that? Because I think, if I was 5 years or 10 years or 15 years ago as a CHRO and you said that, I would have self-doubt. I'm not a strategist. I don't have an MBA. I don't have a P&L. I think when you hear words that you said, you lean back. I think maybe a way for a CHRO to think about it is you don't necessarily have to know what channel you want to get into or what R&D project, but you do have to be very involved in the how it's going to get done. And I think some of the problems with strategic planning is we spend 90% on the what, and then at the end, there's a slide on the how. And the how is actually more important than the what, and the how is all about the CHRO. It is, to your point, David, it's the capabilities, it's the organization, it's the barriers, it's the timeline. So I think if a CHRO started to think, maybe I'm not going to drive the business strategy, the what part, but I am going to lead the how conversation, would get them more comfortable with a role and lean them into the conversation, as opposed to, as you said, sometimes they think, well, I don't know that I have the experience for that, but you do have the experience, certainly, and the expertise for the how.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You should be the deepest visionary and strategist on the how.
Yes.
You can have a sales guy person, a R&D person, an operations person, finance person. Oh yeah, we're going to blah, 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 blah in 3 years and we're going to get sales up. Yeah. How the heck are you going to do that? Because guess what? The future is going to be software based and we're hardware, or the future is going to be hardware and we don't know squat about hardware. And oh, I'm going to hire people. Really? And so the CHRO then, again, speaking up, being confident about their role and about their expertise, leaning into it, as you said, Karen, and helping the CEO and the team hold themselves accountable to finding and figuring out the how. That's really important.
I think every CEO who sees this is going to be like, oh, I can't wait for my CHRO to do the how. Please let them take over the